messing things up in no time
Oh, gusgusinc. I only know because someone said in chat, it reminded me, you make a lot of those PKA clips. Very good. Very good. Just make sure that I always appear as a winner or the good guy. I would appreciate it. But in all seriousness, yeah, very high T highlights that you make. Very, very well done.
Bully your way out of bullying campaign. You can't be bullied if they're already dead.
Kyle was on quite the tale. We were all riveted about what dogs call things.
It makes sense, though. What would a dog call a human foot? It wouldn't say that's a foot. It would say that's a stomper.
It would say it's a paw.
No, that's not. No. This is a paw. Look at that. I got a big boot on it.
Oh, it sounds like your dog's had a bit of experience in the Toblerone factory in Estonia. Has he had any experience there at our triangle candies?
I just figured that dogs don't have lips and like their tongue isn't the same as ours, so words don't come out the same either. Like they're not able to form them in their words. You know, they can't really enunciate a lot because they're dogs. I think the greatest single human invention will be whenever we're able to communicate with the dogs. That's going to be huge. When we know what they're thinking and they know what we're thinking, we get like one of those robo helmets to put on the dog, like in.
According to Rick and Morty, that does not work out well.
You know what?
Well, that's because they made him super intelligent. I just want to talk to my dog, not some hyper intelligent version that thinks he's a slave.
I want my dog to be about as smart as like a 3-year-old. Like valuable smart. So they're not going to come in and be like, oh, you're doing that on your taxes? I think you could save some money if you would do this. And I'd be like, get the fuck out of here. I'll have you fixed. Like, that's what I want. One that would just be honest. Like if I walk by naked and my dog sees me, it would go, hey, looks like you're putting on a little weight. I'd be like, all right, that's a valuable thing for the dog to say. It's not lying. It's looking out for my best interest. Thank you, dog. That's a nice little tip. I'll watch that.
Well, shit, if that's something that you want. I'm here, bro.
You want me to parade around naked every day for you, and you'll be like, "Hey, you're getting fat," you know.
It's a service I provide.
Good naked.
Well, yeah, that's what I was hoping for.
What else could a dog? The only thing a dog could conceivably do with the ability to speak is ruin secrets and ruin your life. It couldn't divulge. It's never going to go. Like you're never going to go to the bathroom when your dog's sitting there, and you have a girl on the couch, and he's going to go, "You know what he does when you're not around?" He helps the poor. He's charitable. He's very generous, gracious with his time. You know, socially conscious. No, it's going to be, hey, he was masturbating right there 40 minutes ago. Like,
no,
said he had to get the poison out prior to the date. I don't
know.
know.
Dog will never jump on that grenade of who passed gas. It'd just be like, fuck, it wasn't me.
Oh, that was fine.
Dogs. I think my dogs are good dogs, so they would do those things. Let me clarify,
that was not me. That was not my fault. Oh man, now I want to talk. No, I want a friend of mine to have a talking dog, and for them to be on camera. I don't want my secrets divulged.
I feel like you'd be a talking chimp, man.
When there's something inside of you that like that's hurting that much, you want it out real bad, and and everything else is a real secondary concern. I was more than if I'd had pliers, I'd have been in there, and I know it might crush the tooth, but I might have just crushed it on purpose. Just fucking anything's better than how it felt.
And then you would have immediately regretted that.
My cousin did it, and he said after about 20 minutes, the pain went away.
You should have just went up to the toughest-looking guy on the flight and been like, hey, I've been noticing you here this whole time, faggot. And then just see if he'll punch you into comfort.
That he might take me in the bathroom and fuck me. To death, you know? Well, my tooth still hurts, and I had to give him a blowjob. Yeah, I noticed you too. You're like, shit. He hit that motherfucker so goddamn hard. That guy is never going to be the same. I don't care what you say. Like I know he probably wasn't like composing beautiful music yesterday or anything, but if he were, I guarantee that shit is not going to sound the same.
Yeah, he's back to hot cross buns on the.
That's all he's got. He forgot the end. You see? He forgot the end.
You couldn't remember like doing like on the piano that thing with your knuckles where you're like ba-da-lam, bam, bam, ba-da-lam, bam, bam, ba-da-lam, bam, bam.
I didn't know that one. My cousin always got really fancy schmancy piano lessons. So I felt like a real mongoloid going over there and doing anything to that instrument of hers. You know what I mean? Like she would walk up to it, this girl who's like 4 years younger than me, and make beautiful music. She got bi-weekly lessons since she was a tiny child. I think her scholarship may have involved her piano playing abilities. Like, she does concerts. It's absurd. And so, like, the piano's sitting there, and I certainly wasn't going to go over there and do Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star or anything, because she would come right back in there with some Bach or something, and just the whole house is filled with this beautiful music that she's making. And, like,
glorious, and you don't want to compete. It was the same way when I took piano, but I knew more than just like Twinkle Twinkle when my parents made me do it. But my mom would do that thing like when I was little, like bust me out at parties when like they're all clearly a little tipsy, and she'd be like, "All right, Taylor, show everybody how you can play piano," and it'd be like, "All right, everybody, well, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, huh? Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer in May." It's either that or nothing, you know? Like, that was it. I can't tell you how many times in front of my parents it was like, "Taylor, play the piano." "All right, who's okay with Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer?" That's all I got. I don't remember the names of these chords. I just remember from the 2 lessons that I took and remembered.
Bullies target me in grade school. Nah, I was too big. Too big of a kid. Or no, wait. There was this kid once, Jared, who pushed me down. He pushed me down on the playground. But then I tripped him pretty good later at a different recess, and he scabbed his knee up. So I would call that a wash. So I'll keep it at rarely. Have you always wanted a best friend but never found one? What kind of answer is rarely or sometimes to this? Doesn't make any fucking sense. Yeah, fuck Jared. I bet he's a bitch now.
What's your thing?
Paramotor talk. I think I'm getting a new paramotor. I haven't like broadcasted. That's why I want to talk about it on PKN, where it's a little more private. It's not quite out there as much. Well, shit, I didn't know. So it's not quite out there as much.
Yeah. We were playing Civ because we started a game and we're like, "Do you think he forgot the day?" Or, I mean, he is someone whose hobby is strapping a fan to his back and taking to the skies, so...
Yeah, I told Chiz, I was like, what if a goose... First I Googled, how fast does a goose fly? Turns out 40 miles per hour without a tailwind. And then, you know, Woody flies at around 30 miles per hour, I figured. Mm-hmm. I was like, what if a goose hit Woody in the chest? It's at a combined velocity of 70 miles per hour. Maybe that's how he goes. You know, that could have happened. I've heard anything. And, you know, we're just throwing scenarios out there. You know, left and right, all kinds of horrible things. Like I don't believe in, like, jinxing you, luckily. If that were a thing, you'd have perished from something horrible. Because, you know, we come up with all kinds of scenarios for what could have happened. We don't hear from you sometimes. And yeah, we thought you might be a goner.
I remember when the Prius first came out, people were saying, "Oh, actually, you'll be surprised. Hummers are more fuel efficient than a Prius when you consider all the R&D that went into the Prius." And it's like, really? Like, how are you like amortizing the cost?
Well, I mean, yeah, that's a stupid comparison.
You got to dispose of that big lithium battery.
I think the big thing with, and the fact that people who charge their cars in the wall or at those output stations, do you think that electricity just is magically collected from lightning? Like, no, that's like most of that.
Coal.
A third of that comes from
coal, right?
Most of that is coming
Taylor,
from
there's
coal.
an energy source we haven't even discussed yet. I'm in favor of lightning collection.
To the sky.
Why haven't we? You know, like, am I the only one who's a child here and still hasn't figured out why we haven't tapped into the lightning source of power on this planet? It seems like that shit's going off all the time. And as a kid, they're like, 1 volt of lightning could power every light bulb on the planet for 8 seconds. And I'm like, well, shit, they're happening all the time. Let's look up to that.
Well, there is a dude somewhere in fucking Transylvania who dropped out of his engineering course and is frantically looking up with his googly eye and hunchback, trying to figure out how to harness the power of the sky.
Some asshole with a kite and a key, like, I almost got it. I have this figured out.
Ben Franklin, with this, we're gonna tap into that unused electricity up there. That and like it seems like
key, you know.
I think my limit is like I'll that's approaching it. Like I'll drive down to like Florida, or you know, if I've got to move a piece of equipment or a tool or something that I have to have with me to Texas, then I have to. But man, that last drive to Boston convinced me that it was just so awful. Like when you're in the middle of a drive like that, you're just like, there's no way out. Like I couldn't quit if I wanted to. Like I'm just here. Like I gotta continue this. It might have helped
if your co-pilot didn't sleep on you.
Well, I mean,
that guy.
Maybe.
That is so frustrating when the co-pilot sleeps, because Melissa does that every fucking time we go on a road trip. I have to plan it now where it's just like, all right, you're driving tomorrow, right? You're driving, because I don't really sleep well in cars or any method of transportation, so I'm always awake. And so I'll sit there and talk to the person I'm driving, but it infuriates me when I spend like at the 8-hour trip from Boise to Seattle, 8 or 9 hours, I sat there alone driving because she was asleep. Like that's
I like to drive.
I regret not helping now. A better version of me might have done it over
Also
3
didn't drive
days.
on the way back, just saying.
Now for that I was awake. And you could have said something.
I was just polite. I was like, maybe he's got something wrong with him and he can't drive. And I'm going to be like, hey, could you drive? And you're going to be like, oh, I'm not allowed to drive.
My club foot.
Waiting for me to offer to drive someone else's car. I guess I should have, but, that I guess in my head.
We all made it back.
We did, yeah. The GPS took us not in a straight line.
Where?
Yeah, we were.
You got stuck in Delaware?
Oh God.
Like detour. I probably messed up the navigation, touching it to make sure that
there's a mix. I think Kyle programmed it wrong, but I was in charge of the programming as the navigator. So, where do you place the blame? And
2 systems failed that should have gotten us home, and I was responsible for one, and he was the other, and we just didn't make it home quite as early as we would have.
So I think about Delaware is it's a peninsula, so when you make a wrong turn down into Delaware, you got to turn around and go back where you came from. And then
I remember we had this discussion. I was like, is there a bridge? or maybe a tunnel? I don't know.
There's a ferry and it's not running.
And I know that it's an absurd idea to suggest that there's some 90-mile long tunnel in the out by Delaware, but that I've never heard of, like the channel. But we were, it's 2 a.m. and we just want to be home. And I'm like, maybe there's a tunnel. I don't know.
Yeah, it was.
We could what was the old Oregon Trail? We could fjord the car and pack it or something. It was so bad. But we made it home. I think I dropped him off at it was the middle of the night.
Yeah, it was late. I mean, if he dropped me off at 1, he was gonna get home at 6 or something.
Yeah. So I continued on home, and I get 10 miles down the road, and I hear I'm like, that ain't my fucking ringtone. It's Jackie on Woody's phone. I'm like, I'll be right there.
I
gotta turn around. I was going down the interstate. I just went straight through the median, straight through the through the grass, and just made a U-turn because it's the middle of the night.
What did you say? Because there's no way that you just hung up and went. Because I've done this before. You had to have been like, fuck, Woody, you stupid fuck, son of a bitch, I gotta get home, I'm gonna fall asleep and die in the road. You had to do that, just so tired and emotional, just ugh, right?
Actually, I think I just took it. I think I took it really well. The way I remember, I was like, I'll be right back with your phone, and he was like, okay, sorry, and I was like, boop, and then I just went through the median, all right, just do this as quickly as you can. All right, here we go. We're going back, whatever.
Yeah, and I was ready for him when he got there. He didn't have to leave the car or anything. Came out, quick baton handoff. Yeah, if you had, I'd have been there to catch it. Yeah, I was right there.
I'll talk to you on Skype,
I was glad to get home after all that bullshit.
No matter what political side you find yourself on, we need to demand that they disappear forever. This will not happen without pressure. If you want to be part of this pressure, there are things you personally can do too. Visit notonukes.org to...
Nah, nukes are tight, dude. I'm not going there.
5 minutes? Yep, I'm with you.
Yeah, Gus, huge penis.
Was going on with the fish.
How long, Rochelle?
This is where we want you to go. This is what makes us look good. This is what keeps us in Mustang GTs. I don't think it matters, though. I just feel like you're really putting him into a corner with that
I
statement.
didn't put him anywhere. He put himself into a corner. He says shit. He's a knowingly lying bullshitter, right? That's who Trump is. And Kyle's like, no. He didn't mean that. When we take what Trump says and pass it through the Kyle filter, it turns out into something far more reasonable, right?
I
look at his underlying motivations. Oh, you stop. I look at his underlying motivations, and when you do that,
no, fuck you. Stop. You stop. No.
Go ahead.
You
Go
do
make
this
your
over
point.
and I would love to finally make my point.
Silly.
It is, isn't it? So the issue here, you keep saying this about me, that I have a Kyle filter. The Kyle filter is where I try to reason things out.
Could you say it again?
He feller in the white